Both Canada and Mexico will stay closed for at least another month, all because of the pandemic. The borders were scheduled to reopen next week after being closed to non-essential travel since the beginning of the outbreak. Extended restrictions along the Canada border will soon include more enforcement and surveillance. However, people can fly to Mexico for vacation. It is, though, a very different experience during COVID-19. And joining us now is travel blogger Angel Castellano, who is currently in Tulum, Mexico. And first, I want you to take us through this whole process. What was it like traveling outside the country?
Well, it was a pretty interesting experience because flying on American Airlines was no different than any other time except for wearing a mask. But once you get on the Mexican side, it's a completely different experience. So first of all, I did take a COVID test before I left the United States. And then once I arrived in Mexico, there was a temperature check. They checked on a health declaration, which I did have to fill out. And then it was straight through customs as normal. And here in Mexico, things are a little quieter than usual, but people are definitely still having a good time.
So are people there wearing masks? Are they social distancing?
Absolutely. There's a whole process. Masks are definitely required. You can't go into any business without a temperature check, without a pump of hand sanitizer, and it just seems like the masks are taken much more seriously in this country.
And what type of businesses are operating right now?
So you can definitely go to restaurants, you can take day trips, you can do the usual touristy sort of things, except they're all on a limited schedule. I, for example, took a day trip from Puerto Vallarta to Yelapa, and there was only a couple of ferries running that day, whereas they usually have like 5 or 6 ferries. So it's really advisable for travelers to double check with the restaurant or the tourist site before they go anywhere, because I found that everyone is really operating on a limited schedule here.
Yeah, limited availability. What about reservations? Are those required there for some of the activities that, someone who visits Mexico might like to do?
The reservations aren't really required here at all. If you want, yeah, if you definitely want to, take a day trip, if you want to go paddleboarding or things like that, it's pretty easy to arrange social distancing activities with just a little bit of communication and double checking the schedules.
I want to go back to what you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, and that is your flight aboard American Airlines. And you said it really wasn't any different from traveling pre-pandemic, aside from people wearing masks. So it was a pretty full flight then?
It was definitely full on American Airlines, but flying within Mexico, the Mexican flights domestically here within Mexico were full. Flying from Los Angeles to Puerto Vallarta, I'd say that the plane was about a third full, and I double checked my flights going from Cancun back into the United States. And again, there's a lot of seat availability, so it seems like the flights coming out of the United States are pretty empty, which is a completely different from what I'm seeing on social media when it comes to traveling domestically with the United States.
Yeah, certainly interesting to point out there. Well, safe travels. Appreciate your perspective and also showing us what it's like, traveling here in the U.S. and also into Mexico. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.